and TV. All major cities and suburbs in America seem to be experiencing a rise in crime. Shootings in New York City have become a regular daily or near daily event. In Times Square, we saw a passenger being pushed in front of an oncoming subway vehicle. In the Bronx, we had an 11-month-old baby shot in the face. In Harlem, we had 2 police officers shot to death while on duty. 2 shootings in Miami last week caused Miami to issue a curfew which remained in place for over 1 week. In Washington, D.C., a police officer was wounded last week. Houston, Texas, a sheriff while on patrol was shot. In Chicago, weekly violent crimes and murders and shootings are occurring. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Atlanta, San Francisco, Los Angeles, all experiencing increasing violent crime. Also in Oregon State, Washington State, reports of significant increases in violent crime. We're also seeing increased reckless driving and disregard for laws in general. Today I have a special guest with me, Lisa Charles, who is a specialist in helping individuals and groups to deal with improving themselves, recognizing behaviors, attitudes, and thoughts that contribute to each of us feeling frustrated, feeling angry, feeling disassociated from society. So I'd like to welcome Lisa Charles, a fitness wellness trainer and expert in helping you and I to get our lives back in order. She recently wrote an Amazon bestseller, Yes, Commit, Do, Live. Assist individuals and groups to get back a better way of living, a better way of thinking. What are you seeing?
Well, first of all, I'm just humbled and happy to be here with you today, Dr. Baker. This is probably no more of an important issue that we need to address as a world community, as any community, local, state, federal. Um, I really wrote the book, and I come and I speak to bring a unique approach to this issue. We know about the rising levels of violence, and I don't care if you look at the FBI statistics or any of the other councils on criminal justice statistics, and certainly the WHO recently had a report about 1.6 million people dying as a result of violence. And you often look at what are the ways that people want to address it. And whereas there is a great emphasis on societal issues, community issues, relationship, there's often not the main objective is to focus on the individual. And so my book is about the individual because of any of those categories that I just gave you. If you don't address the individual and the individual's understanding of themselves, you're not going to have an impact on any of the other ones. If someone is committing a violent crime, that is someone that is not in touch with themselves 100%. And whereas in the past, in school, you used to really get a foundation about what is most important, how we define ourselves, how we work with others, how we relate to others, what's most important. Because it's not reinforced anywhere unless it's reinforced at home, you find individuals that are truly lost. And so, in writing the book, I really wanted to give a different, unique perspective to what true wellness is from the inside out, from the top down, inside out. And I have a few components that I really focus on. And I think, in light of what's going on right now, could make a fundamental difference if all organizations really said, let's take a look at the individual. Let's make sure that people, for instance, know who they are, really connected. And I don't just mean your dreams, your passions, your skills and talents. That's beautiful. But at the end, in the really center of your core, are your values, your goodness, your self control, your love, your kindness, your attachment to others, and your character. It's always taught character is king, but it all goes back to that. And what I wanted to do was lay out the foundation of how can, if you're disconnected from all of that, how can you reconnect to those things that make you truly that kind of human that can be around others in a loving environment.
Society looks at itself, and each of our viewers thinks about their own life and their own increasing frustration, anger that all of us seem to be feeling these days. What's the first step to regaining control of our lives and ultimately regaining control of our society?
So I'm going to say these two steps almost work a little bit in tandem. One of it is really kind of taking ownership of your life, ownership of the choices that you make, recognizing that you're at the driver's seat. We make choices every day, every second, every day. You can choose how you think about a situation. You can choose how you react to a situation. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you can choose to react in a very violent way, or you can choose to react in a way that says, I take that in context of what's going on in the world or what may be happening in that person. So the choices, and really taking ownership of the choices, is one of the key components to taking back your power in your own self. It's not just because you grew up in this area, or your family was this, or your peer group is this and that's why, or someone goes on the stage and does a violent act because you're really trying to protect someone. You have reasons. You have to at some point say, whatever it is, I take ownership. Right or wrong, I did this. This is what I did. And now when I take ownership, I can take that really tandem step of, am I doing something that's in line with the best of who I am, who I really am right now, but who I have the potential to be? And the only way to do that is really to take the next step to say that question. It sounds like a very easy question. It's a very complex question. Who am I? And that allows you to really explore, who am I with my values? Am I being in line with my values? What are my values? And am I being in line with them? So I really take people on the journey to say, how is it to be a loving person? What does that mean? Do you love yourself? Do you love on others? I talk about it, flexing the love muscle. You have to work at that. You have to understand that, because I don't care what it is. And of course, Dr. Baker, I spent first part of my professional life as a prosecutor. And so I saw people at all sides, and I understand that people can make mistakes or can do things or can be in a situation. But when they get back to understanding the core of who they are, that is the pathway for them to prevent them making wrong decisions in the future. Other violent crimes, other mistakes, but you know, definitely maybe it's not on the violent side, but it's still in the criminal act. Anyone that's doing that is not in alignment with themselves. And I always say this: if you don't have connection with that, if you don't have connection, you have no direction. With connection to yourself, it will bring more direction to your life. So I love when and it really doesn't matter what the background was before, to give them back the connection, to start with the core of the foundation of your values, to challenge yourself to exercise everything that you say, that you do, your movements, your relationships, that they're in alignment with your value, your core values. It's amazing when you just make it. Sounds like a simple step, but if you do it and you do it consistently, you'll start to find yourself making better choices, making better decisions. And when something happens, you're not going to be on the reflexive side of doing something that's really quite harmful to others and to yourself.
Very good. Lisa, one of the things that our founding fathers reminded us of, and Thomas Jefferson actually spoke it, that for our society, for the freedoms we enjoy in our Constitution, each American citizen must awaken in the morning with a decision to follow the laws and to comply with the rules that are in place that we have decided to live by. Would you agree, we just have a few seconds left, but would you agree that this really is a decision? It's a personal decision that each of us must make to get our lives back into order, to follow the rules, and to begin working every day to improve ourselves.
100%. I say it's own your choices and find your power. When you own your choices, you'll start to see that you truly do have a major say on the direction of your life. And I give a couple of things for people to do to get to that point. You know, when I talk about the love muscle and exercising it, doing something loving for yourself and loving for someone else every day. And you'll not only see the health benefits of that, there are multiple health benefits that will happen internally to you, but you start to put yourself on a better pathway to be able to really relate in the society in a way that we all are hoping for, that we come back in unity and that we come back in love, and that we come back in a way that we're not just reactive at the moment of anything that happens, but that we're really fundamentally grounded.
Yes, I agree with you. I believe we can build back stronger and better, and that each of us individually can be stronger and better, and the nation as a whole can grow and prosper in ways that we never imagined possible. I want to thank you for being with us today, Lisa Charles. Highly recommend that if you haven't had a chance to read Lisa's book, Yes, Commit, Do, Live. Lisa's, it's still available on Amazon, the best way to get it?
Yes, I would say Amazon or online with Barnes and Noble or any other bookstore. I invite everyone that really takes that journey to reach out to me, and let's really start to build this world community of love and faith and trust.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us, Lisa. This is Terrence Baker, your host, NABN TV, Doctors in the House. Thank you.